Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Tina Marie, and today I am going to be doing a different type of video. As you can see, I'm not wearing eye makeup. I haven't been feeling that great. My eye's irritated and it's in pain, and I'm here to do a little bit of a story time. And I was going to take the day off because I haven't been feeling well, even to be in camera, but I kind of wanted to share my story just because um, I want to spread awareness of my condition that I have, and it's been a battle for me for a very long time. And so, what I have is a chronic eye disease, and I developed this just recently, 4 years ago. And there isn't a lot of like information about it or awareness about it because it's not as commonly known by a lot of people. However, it's the number one cause in America and other countries for blindness. Now, I didn't develop this eye condition until like 4 years ago, and I am going to get into what it is. Now, the eye disease that I have is called keratitis dendritic, and that is the scientific name for herpetic eye disease. Herpetic eye disease is obtained by a virus that everybody else has. You get it when you're a child, you could get it when you're born, you could get it in contact with other people. And it is caused by either two different viruses. They're kind of related. And one of them is Zoster ulcers, which are known for the shingles. Shingles, when we are children, it's called chickenpox, but later on in life, it's called shingles, and that attacks you only in one area of your body. Now, the second type of virus, it's called herpes simplex 1. Herpes simplex 1 is known as cold ulcers, and cold ulcers are not only on your lips, you could get it in different parts of your face, including your eyes. Now, with me 4 years ago, this eye problem, I developed it when I was working at a preschool, and I started to have fever for 3 days straight. I couldn't understand, like what it was because it did not feel like a common cold or anything that I had had in the past. Now, keep in mind, this was back in 2019 when COVID was barely coming to the US. I was working at that time and we weren't still in confinement yet. And I got really sick. And during that time, I took a few days off. And then when it got better, this is when I started feeling the discomfort in my eyes. Now, this was 2 days within after feeling better from this fever that I had. And all of a sudden, I started feeling at work a pain in my eye, like if I had a foreign object in my eye, or even like having like sand or dirt in my eye. It just felt painful. Another description of how this feels is like also having like some type of like chile in your eye, or having like alcohol like spritz in your eye. It just burns like in excruciating pain. And that's what I was like starting to feel at work when the light would hit me in the eye, or just when the wind would like hit me on the face and it would get into my eyes. I just felt like this horrible pain. And I remember I told my employer that I needed to leave early to go see a doctor or call a doctor. And I guess at that point, they weren't accepting people for appointments, not for like regular appointments. And I wasn't sure if this was like an emergency for them. So I called anyways. They rejected me and they said, hey, we could only accept people who have COVID symptoms. And at this moment, like it's packed in the hospitals and everything. Maybe you could try seeing a doctor in Mexico or something. So that's what I ended up doing. And when I got there, the eye doctor just checked my eye and he said, I know what you have. I've seen already 5 patients that have the same problem as you. This is keratitis dendritic. These are ulcers in your eye. You probably got them when you obtained fever during those days that you were sick. And I have the best remedy for you. So I'm just going to give you medication and you'll be fine within a week or two. So don't worry. So I was okay. So after that, I took my medication and whatnot, and I was still not getting better. I still needed a little bit time off, and my doctor gave me a doctor's note to have time away. And so by that time, my employer was checking up on me, and she said, you know what, you don't need to come back to work because we are going to start quarantine. And so everybody is in lockdown. So that came to me as a blessing. And I got better within a month. So that kind of suited me way better at the time. And when that time passed, like the school shut down. And so I had to start a new job 2 years after the confinement. And I started at another preschool, and the same thing happened to me again. I got sick, and this was like in October, 4 months in my new job. And I got really sick. I had a respiratory infection. It wasn't COVID. It wasn't strep throat. It wasn't anything that they test you for. There was three things, right? Like the flu, the COVID, and strep throat. I did not have any of those. They just said it's a respiratory infection, and just treat it like any other virus, and we're going to give you all these medications and you'll be fine. So I was like, okay. So I was like literally gone for like, when was it? It was maybe a Thursday. And from there I had like the rest of the weekend to kind of like recuperate. However, when I started feeling better, 2 days in from feeling better, I developed the same symptoms I developed 2 years ago from there. And I started feeling pain in my eye and all that jazz. And I told my employer, and she thought it was pink eye. And I explained it's not. I know what it is. And so, like, she just gave me 3 days off because I got a doctor's note for that. And I guess when I went to urgent care to check my eye, they were like, "Oh, it must be pink eye. I know you have something in your eye, but just come back if it gets complicated." And I was like, "No, it's not pink eye. I know what it is. I got treated a few years ago for this. It's keratitis dendritic, and I need to see a specialist here in the US." And they were like, "Don't you have an eye doctor here?" And I was like, "No." And I had to explain why, like, during COVID, I couldn't see a specialist. So they were like, "Okay." So they told me I need to call my general doctor, make an appointment, and get a referral from them to be able to see an eye doctor. So I was like, I don't know if I'll have time for that. I need to see an eye doctor right away. It's an emergency. I could lose my eyesight. And so they were like, okay, we're going to give you a direct number to a doctor, general doctor, and you're going to see him tomorrow. So make sure you go to your appointment, and from there ask to get a referral. To make the story short, I got an eye doctor. They checked me and they said, "You have 4 ulcers in your eye. You're gonna need a lot of time off. So you're gonna have to contact your employer. We're gonna give you a note, let them know what it is, and we'll go from there." So my employer, she kind of was like, "What? You need all this time off? I mean, what do you mean?" So she gave me a hard time. And so, like, I had to contact HR and all that. So all the stress kind of like made things worse for me. I was depressed. I felt like nobody understood my eye problem, and I had to go through HR instead of going through my employer and doing things like a better way. You know what I mean? So I was going through a lot of things. So from there, I took those days off, and I was taking like 800 milligrams for acyclovir, which is a medication to kind of treat this eye condition. And during this time, like, I developed new symptoms because the more severe the relapses is, you start developing dry eye syndrome, and the medication also makes you lethargic. You start to feel dehydrated, and you have to really, really drink a lot of water. I developed eczema on my face. It was just like a nightmare for me for 4 months. And this was during holiday. This was in Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, Halloween, all that. It was just a nightmare for me. But from there, after that passed, I went back to work, and a lot of things happened at work that, maybe it's pointless to talk about in this video, but I kind of like resigned due to discrimination of my eye condition. And I started a new job, which I am currently in, and I'm very happy about. And again, I got sick, and the same patterns, and I only have one ulcer, so I'm probably like 3 to 4 days in with this ulcer, but I'm taking medications for it. And as you can see, it's a little irritated, and I develop pink eye plus the ulcer, so I'm just like not having a great time. But a little bit about this eye condition. everybody has this virus. It's just this virus is waiting for a moment to get triggered by stress. It could be triggered by getting really, really sick. It could be triggered even by getting an eye injury, like an accident or someone hitting you in your eye. It could be triggered by using contacts, but like not having a good hygiene with your contacts, cleaning them properly, or forgetting to take them off during nighttime, using contacts in hot tubs, jacuzzis, or swimming with them, etc. So, oh yeah, another one, you could get this eye condition after LASIK surgery. So that's another way of getting it. And also cross contamination, just so that you guys can be aware of that. With me, I got it during COVID, so I'm not sure if I had COVID. They didn't have the testing for it, but I know that I had a very high fever for 3 days straight and I wasn't feeling great. So I assumed that I must have had that, and that probably triggered my eye problem that I have now. Now, how is this virus like? Where is it living at? It lives in our nervous system. It lives on this area. I forgot the name, how they described it at the clinic, but there's nerves on the side of our face where it lives and it could be triggered. And that affects also your tear glands that we have right here. So I don't produce a lot of tears in my eyes because of my eye condition, and I have to use eye drops all the time, non-preservative eye drops, because if I use a preservative eye drops, I can't wear them consistently, because what it does, it gets your body used to the eye drops, that it stops producing its own tears. So they suggest using ones that don't have preservatives. This one's you could use often, as much as you want. The preservative ones, I think you can only use a couple of times during the day. Now, another treatment for this is acyclovir. The milligrams, it all depends on the severity of your case. In this case, right now, I only have one ulcer, so I'm only taking 400 milligrams 3 times a day. But back 2 years ago, when I had 4 ulcers, I had to take 800 milligrams 5 times a day. And so now I have to take 400 milligrams all my life. I have to take acyclovir all my life. Like, I can't stop taking them because I'll have severe reoccurrences. So I developed this eye problem right now, the ulcer, a few days ago, even if I was taking once a day 400 milligrams. But it didn't get to the point where I got 4 or 5 or anything like that, because I was already taking it. However, they did up the dose to 3 times a day, 400 milligram acyclovir. And this is an antiviral. This helps with the shingles. This helps with the herpes simplex 1. This treats my eye problem. And the lower dose, I believe, is 200 milligrams. Also, since they want to speed up the healing process of my eye, they gave me Zurgen. Zurgen is a topical gel medication. It looks like this. And I am taking this 5 times a day. Today's my last day taking these 5 times a day, and they're going to take it down to 3 times a day. And medication still is the same until further notice. And yeah, so I've been battling this eye disease for 4 years, and it hasn't been easy. And so that's my story in a nutshell. And I just did this to kind of spread awareness that there is this eye disease that kind of like, I don't know, debilitates people at the same time. At least for me, I feel sometimes kind of sad that that I have to take 100% care of myself, like more than other people, and just help my immune system be better, eating healthy, staying healthy, so that I don't have a lot of reoccurrences. And it just kind of makes me sad that I have to be away from work when this happens. And yeah, so this is pretty much it, my lifestyle for now. So thank you guys for being my viewers. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned something about it, and God bless.